Hey everybody, welcome back to the Convo Couch. I am Fiorella Isabel, and with me today I have a gentleman that's been working really hard to unite a lot of organizations that are all over the place. His name is Jerry Perez. He works with Our Revolution LA, and Our Revolution LA has been doing a lot of work in unison with other organizations. Jerry, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me on, Fiorella.
So, Jerry, we're at a time right now where people are out in the streets. People are marching against police brutality by the thousands. We're seeing people really go out there and make their voices heard for a cause that is very important. However, a lot of people are also finding that we're in a tumultuous situation in general. We are on the brink of economic collapse. We are dealing with the remnants of a pandemic. We are also dealing with very, very low trust in the political system, very low trust in politicians and in our government, and just a lot of distrust in general. A lot of Bernie supporters have been through the ringer. They feel like they don't know where to go. They're directionalist, but they feel like something can happen that is not just including police brutality, but also includes other things like Medicare for all, Green New Deal, uh, $15 minimum wage. And these are the things that people want. They just don't know how to make the leap between what's happening now and how to take that into more direct actions later. So I really wanted to talk to you about how we do that, because a lot of people, a lot of us talk about theories and talk about what we need to do, but we also need to talk about how to actually implement that in reality into what's happening now. So I just want you to explain to the audience what who you are and what's your role within Our Revolution LA.
Well, thank you. Okay, well, first, I'm Jerry Perez. I'm the field director of Our Revolution Los Angeles. And my responsibilities in that role is I train all of our volunteers to be effective, confident, and knowledgeable organizers. I teach them how to hold their own organizing meetings. I teach them how to canvas. I teach them how to phone bank. I teach them how to do tabling / flyering events. I also teach them how to do social media blackout operations.
Mm-hmm.
I also help direct our direct actions, our protesting, our marching, and any other situations where we need direct action on the streets to help pressure our representatives to do the right thing. So that's what I do in my role in this organization. Those are my responsibilities.
And what direct actions have you guys done as of recent?
As of recent, we helped with going to Mayor Garcetti's house, and we actually marched outside his home out there with all in solidarity with the groups that showed up that day. We participated in a number of Black Lives Matters events
Mm-hmm.
in solidarity, and we also organized with the Roofers Union, Local 31, with Cliff, and our most recent one, and which was one of the most eventful ones, was a couple of weeks ago when we helped out with the march early in the morning, and then went out to Hollywood, and 6 cop cars were set on fire, and they were tear gassing and spraying us with rubber bullets out there. And that was
Yeah.
the most recent one. I believe you were arrested that day.
Yeah, that West Hollywood that you were at?
That was West Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like everybody was arrested that day, I swear. It
Yeah,
it
it
was
was not a fun
crazy.
day.
No, not at all. Not a fun day at all. Um, it just shows you though how bad things have gotten. I mean, obviously the police have backed off because of people suing them because of the ACLU. But it's definitely really shown a lot of people who maybe trusted cops before that what people of color have experienced for a long time, and what poor people too have experienced, because we know that in this country we criminalize poverty, so just like I said, a lot of people are very distrusting of the current situation of current organizations. What happened with Bernie Sanders and Jeff Weber, how Jeff Weber went out and created his own super PAC, and how they're doing everything they can to elect Joe Biden and fight against progressives. So why should progressives, who are putting in the work, trust ORLA? And what are you guys doing to kind of fight back that co-option that's been happening a lot?
So let me explain what the current situation is and how we reacted to it. So some time ago, Bernie Sanders dropped out and endorsed Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up to that news with somewhere around 100 text messages and my phone ringing nonstop. I was getting calls, frantic calls, pissed off calls, depressed calls, and everyone was expressing the same thing, that they felt betrayed and they lost all hope and they were done. I had to talk down a couple of people. Some people were getting ready to do something stupid in our group, and I pulled them back from that insanity. And what we saw was about 75% of our active members just dropped turkey, just done. They were done. There was no participation. There was nothing after that. And so we had to look at the whole situation, and we asked ourselves, do we trust the Democratic Party to effectively represent us at the local, the state, and the federal level? And we sent out a survey to our active members, and we asked them this question. And overwhelmingly, they said, fuck no, we do not trust them or have confidence in them. So we thought about our options to move forward from here. And we released another survey asking, well, these are our options. We can continue to try to change the Democratic Party from within, or we can work with a already existing established party like the Green Party or whatever it may be, or we can go and create a new party from scratch and attempt to do this all right the first time around. So surveyed them again, and 72% of them all said that they want to start and create a brand new party. So we reached out to Movement for People's Party, Nick Brana. We got all of our leadership there. We talked with them. We heard their plan. We vetted him and asked him questions. And he was upfront. He was transparent. And unlike every other fucking organization that we have worked with, they actually gave us materials first day one, and said, we're going to be doing this. And they operate in a very transparent and direct manner. So you can talk with anybody on the team and get advice, or if you have ideas to bring to the table, they actually listen to them. And sometimes they take them on. Like, for instance, they want to adapt what we have here known as our Field Organizer Certification Program. And we want to expand it for the entire nation and see if we can have a program for each one of these groups that's set up, so you can ensure that your volunteers transition into effective organizers across the nation. So I'm very impressed, and we have established trust and confidence with them just because they do what all these other organizations don't do, and they talk to you. You ask us a question, you ask them a question, and they're going to give you a direct answer. So that's all it is from there. And what I say to the rest of everyone here that feels that betrayal, that depression, and they feel beaten, we're not fucking beaten. Especially if you live here in LA County, reach out, talk to us, hear us. You'll know the truth when you hear it, because the truth is unapologetic. It doesn't sound like flowers and roses. You know, it's going to suck, but you know the truth from a lie. And that's all you're going to get if you talk to every other organization, that they need to trust in the Democrats, that they need to try to move the Democrats from the inside. And that's not something that's ever going to fucking work. You cannot change someone that does not want to change. We have to let them go.
Yeah.
They don't want us. They've already screwed over our delegates. There's no point in being in this party anymore. I can already give you a prediction of what's going to happen at the convention. They're going to elect Biden. They're going to put a crown on Biden's head. They're going to say, this person with dementia is now our head puppet.
Yeah, not to mention that the delegates can't even speak out against Biden.
Exactly.
There's no opposition in that. So the people they picked also were already pro-Biden, the majority of them. So as you know, all of this. But what have you run into regarding other out revolutions? Because I have many friends that are members and really involved in our revolutions, and they have told me how I mean, even during the primary, some of them were trying to endorse Warren, some of them were pro Buttigieg. I mean, this is our revolution. It was like started because of Bernie Sanders. And it's just interesting to see just how even with DSA, we're seeing the same thing. Like the establishment, mainly the Democratic Party, come in, and these people have turned into Democratic Party loyalist, and any mention of anything that's not the Democratic Party, they seem to be pushing away and marking people as people who are supporting the GOP. If you're not with the Democratic Party, you must be a GOPer. How are you handling that? How do you navigate those waters?
Well, first, my experience when I reached out to all the other groups, it's been a mixed bag. So I've had some positive. There are some positive ROKFIN groups that are ready to join the true fight. But then there are some, like you are saying, that there are our revolution groups that are compromised as of right now.
Yeah,
And I just want to speak a little bit about the national organization as well.
sure.
In response to what we're doing, they're going to be releasing a new memorandum of understanding soon that bars their local groups from making any decisions without nationals okay.
Wow.
So if they choose a candidate in your area that they deem is electable and you should be backing, you don't have a say in saying we don't want to do that. And I'll send you a copy of that memorandum so you could take a look at it and comment on it later. It's ridiculous is what it is. And so what I would say is that I'm sorry, I forgot the second part of your question.
Well, like, what are you doing to deal with that, right? Because like, if that's how they're acting, and you've seen that they've been co-opted, where does that leave our Revolution LA then?
So that's the leadership.
Right.
That's the supposed leadership of those groups. That is not the core of what our revolution is. The core of what our revolution is it's activists, it's organizers, it's members. Who's on top and who does the admin stuff is not a reflection of what the group feels. So I go out and I talk with normal people. I talk with the activists. I talk with the organizers. I talk with the people that actually do the damn work. And if you want this, join. We will back you. We will ensure you have everything you need to meet success. And for all these other groups out here, and especially moving forward here in LA County, I want you to know you're on notice. The Democratic Party has fucked up and Bernie Sanders is gone. That's the only thing that was personally holding myself back and a lot of other folks out here from doing the right thing. We tried working with the Democratic Party only because Bernie Sanders said we should. And I had trust and faith in Bernie Sanders. And so I put the gloves on. I'm not going to do anything bad. Gloves come off now. I'm coming after these Democrats here. Our groups are coming after these Democrats here. And we're about to do something really outstanding with that called the People's Pandemic and Police Brutality Response on July 11th. And we're going to come and we're going to visit all of these representatives that say they look out for our best interests, but sell us out at a drop of a dime.
Yeah. And I just want to, like, for clarification, what does it mean that you are affiliated with Movement for the People's Party? Like, what exactly does that mean for your organization, and how does that look like for everybody else?
So our group is officially a hub
for
the Movement for the People's Party. So now if you want to become a part of this discussion, if you want to be a part of this movement, hit up our group and get involved because we're working to make a new party, along with supporting our local candidates that we have endorsed and also direct action that goes on in our area. It's just an add-on. That's all it is. Nothing has changed with us. But now we're having the discussion. What does a People's Party look like? And that will lead up to our People's Convention right after the Democratic Convention.
So a lot of people, like I said, have been talking about a general strike. So what are the current plans for your direct actions that you're talking about? Because you're saying join the movement. What does that look like? What's that going to look like from here forward, especially in this climate that we're in?
On July 11th, we're planning a massive nation action in which we're going to go to our state representatives' houses, and we're going to leave a list of demands on their front door, gate, whatever it may be, and also the White House. And we're getting ready to launch that. And what we're doing right now is we're getting our hubs ready. We're getting ready to launch them across the nation. The folks that don't necessarily have any progressive groups in the area, but they want to start something themselves. And so we're going to be we're going to be moving to do mass protests, general strikes, boycotts, which is desperately needed, and we have to hurt them in the only language that they understand. You hurt their money. You hurt their intake of money. 1 week of protests and riots did more than electing any centrist Democrat ever.
Yeah, I agree. Our power is in the streets right now. We're seeing that be so true in real time. So just to break down though, what the people's pandemic and police brutality response.
Mm-hmm.
So what exactly, you say you have a list of demands. What are these demands, and how do you plan on getting people behind that while the Black Lives Matter movement is going on? How do you plan on not like butting heads or making them feel like their plight isn't, being ignored? Because that's one of the things that I've been discussing here with Pasta. Like, how do we go to the next step without dismissing the plight of those that are protesting for police brutality?
So we have an example of list of demands that was created by National, but the list of demands for California and LA County is going to look different from what's going on in Oregon.
Okay.
So that's where we go and we start asking people to come to the table, in which I'm going to be doing very soon here. I'm going to be doing it alongside with the Roofers Union.
Yeah.
And now we just go and talk with the leadership if they want to talk, is the purpose. So in order to, first off, we're not trying to co-opt Black Lives Matter's movement. We feel some way about this as well, so we wish to take action as well. So now our point from here is we need to go talk with them and see if there's a place where we can work together and effectively go after this enemy that affects both of us. And so that's what we need to come to an understanding on. So all this now comes to discussion, and we need to have those talks if they want to have that discussion.
Right. What other organizations have you reached out as part of your hubs besides ORLA?
So right now, ORLA is comprised of 4 hubs. We have a hub in Pomona, we have a hub in Hollywood, we have a hub in San Fernando Valley, and we have a hub in the Antelope Valley. And currently, I'm in talks right now with membership of Socialist Alternative. Cliff from the Roofers Union 31 says he's on board with this, and we're going to be talking to more progressive groups. I would like to talk with Sunrise LA. I would like to talk with Ground Game LA, Street Watch, and also Future Left, just to name a few of the groups that I want to reach out to and begin having this discussion on, do you want a new party?
Yeah, because well, just speaking about LA directly, the LA grassroots is a very like close, tight-knit group of activists. I see the same people all the time out there. Have you reached out to them, and what are the connections you're planning to make within the community? Because people, it kind of feels like people are doing different things at the same time, but none of it is really connecting. Like what could we do to like connect everybody and for you guys to connect with these people, etc.?
I would love to reach out to them. So right now, I've been learning everything that MPP has had to teach, and it's overwhelmingly like a complete relief, just the legal advice that they actually gave compared to what our revolution gave us, which is nothing.
Yeah.
And so I have not been able to reach out to my community yet. But now that I have everything set up, I am going to be actively going out to the progressive community and asking if they want to be a part of this discussion to make a new party. And so what I would say is if you can reach out to me on Twitter, reach out to our website, reach out to all of our social media apps, and we will start having this discussion. And I would also like to reach out to them. I have a certain amount of point of contacts I can reach out to, and I would like to begin this discussion. And to make this clear, I'm not the leader of this. All I am right now is the representative of my organization speaking on this to the public. So I am not the one that calls the shots on this.
So who calls the shots then? Like, is it like a group effort?
Yeah. So everything we do is democratic. It's done by a vote and discussion. There's never, we're just going to do it this way. So how to put it is like we have a board, and then we have each one of our hubs has leadership in the core, and all this is elected. So like I'm actually up for my cycle is about to come to an end, but no one has deemed fit to relieve me of my duties yet, and I'm hoping someone does. But yeah, until then, I'm taking on this responsibility, and I'm going to keep pushing to ensure that this happens.
Yeah, there are a lot of like Democratic clubs too that are doing their own things. You know, there's a lot of progressives that got into the DCCC, not the DCCC, the LA County Delegate Central Committee. So they're trying to, they're dealing, they're pretty much a nuisance to the establishment. They know like they don't have that any power. We don't have any power in the electorate. That's the point right now. Our power is in the streets. So that's why a lot of us are hungry for direct action, for going to these politicians' houses, for having a list of demands. What do you think is one of the main things that you would demand right off the bat in particularly in LA?
Defund the police and redistribute that funding to all the rest of the social programs that desperately fucking need it.
Mm-hmm.
That would be one of the biggest problem solvers we can do right now. And speaking as a Marine Corps veteran, it's fucking ridiculous the amount of money our PD gets to manage these cities. It's freaking ridiculous. In the Marine Corps, we get not even a fraction of what they get, and we're still good at our jobs because we actually gave a damn.
And the militarization of the police, as somebody that's been a Marine Corps veteran, how do you feel about that? Should police have these weapons?
No. Hell no. It needs to go away. Here in my city of Pomona, we have an MRAP, which is a mine-resistant ambush protected vehicle, basically with tires. There is no need for that at all. Its only purpose is intimidation. That is the only purpose of militarizing a local police department, is intimidation. That is not what we need. All that says is that they're trying to ensure that you feel afraid of the local government.
Yeah.
At all times.
Well, yeah. I mean, it often works. So, you guys are planning actions for July 11th, you said, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, recently there have been lynchings across the country, particularly close to us, one in Palmdale and another one in Victorville. What do you guys have any plans on that? What is your sentiment on that? Do you think things are getting worse?
Things are getting worse. And as of right now, we don't have any actions planned. I don't want to I basically don't want to co-opt the Black Lives Matter movement.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been supporting their movements and having people show up to their events. And so right now it's going to get a lot worse. So now that they feel threatened, now that the powers that be feel threatened that we are actually gaining momentum in defunding the police and removing a little bit of this police state, they're going to do retaliations. And this is all that is retaliation. They feel they can get away with killing Black lives up there because it's not in the mainstream. It's not something you're going to see. Yeah. So you're going to see that all over the place, where if they feel they can get away with it, they're going to go for it. And so we need to hold them accountable, and we need to get up, and we need to hit those damn streets, and we need to let them know that there is repercussions for killing innocent people. And so what we want to do is whatever Black Lives Matter has in store for those areas, we would like to support full-heartedly in any way we can.
And let me pose a question to you. There has been a lot of talk of what's happening in Seattle. They have leadership like Shama Sawant, who has been really on the front lines fighting not only police brutality, but also the economic side of how much money they have. And she also went after Jeff Bezos before. And they created, these protesters there created it was called CHAZ before, Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Now it's called CHOP, Capitol Hill Organized / Occupied Protest. So what, do you know what that is, first of all?
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Oh, okay. So they basically, the protesters just created they were protesting the police, so they just created like this area that is free of police, that they're creating their own like farming area where they can farm. The food's free. People are kind of like, occupying this to show that they don't want to live under these conditions. I guess what I'm asking is, what does the future look like in what do you envision that not just ORLA, but ORLA with Movement for the People's Party, with all of these other organizations, whether it's SA, Socialist Alternative, or others, what is the goal? What are you trying to achieve?
The goal is to take back our communities from these two parties. We need to bring back a party of the people, a party of common sense, a party where it's an okay thing to look out for your community. It's an okay thing to stand up for justice.
Mm-hmm.
It's an okay thing to have accountability for your elected officials. Our goal is to make a new party to correct all of these problems, a party that takes part in direct action, a party that is transparent, a party that does not take corporate money, a party that has ideals such as justice, freedom, and equality, and direct representation. None of this you have to pay obscene amounts of money to go talk to a fucking elected official. We do not have kings and queens in this damn country, and we need to fucking remind them of that. Yeah. We need to make a party that represents us, because we don't have any representation right now. What we have is a bunch of liars that like to save face and do little memorable things on TV to show like, oh, look, I'm doing something.
Right.
But there is no tangible results to anything they do. In fact, all they do is just give up and give the wealthy everything they want. So now we need to make the alternative to that.
You know, you're a Latino, you live here in California. You hear all the time about what ICE has done, what Trump has done to the immigrant community. A lot of us are being faced with a lot of objection when we say we will not vote for Joe Biden, because Trump has been really awful when it comes to coronavirus, when it comes to the protests. So a lot of people who were initially like, I'm not voting for Biden, are kind of starting to say, well, maybe I'll vote for Joe Biden. What do you say to those people who say you need to understand that Donald Trump must be out of office?
First thing I say is you need to stop all that. I'm speaking on behalf of myself right now. I am not voting for Biden. I am not voting for Trump. They do nothing for me. Nothing changes with them. I'm going to vote for the person who represents my values and is going to take action to correct these problems out here. It's definitely not Biden. It's definitely not Trump. So neither one of them will receive my vote. And now for the rest of all of you out there that want to play that sheepdogging game where you make people vote based on fear, no, don't vote based on fear. You need to stand up, take positive control of your situation, and create an alternative to vote for. Yep. When they tell you you need to go do this based on fear, tell them, no, that's your fear. Me and my community are going to move forward together. We're going to create our own future. What happens at the top does not reflect what happens on the bottom. If we band together here, together as a community, all of LA County, all of California, we can create the atmosphere here to outlive Trump and Biden. We will have Medicare for all in California. We will have better quality of life here in California, rent control. We will put a fucking mortgage freeze on this whole situation right now.
Yeah.
We will solve this problem. We don't need them to solve our problems. What we need is to band together, take direct action, hold our leadership here accountable, and make the future we want the nation to go in. California leads the way for progressive change across the nation. And we're going to prove that.
Yeah.
So yes, fuck both of them.
And I love it. I love it that you're saying, F both of them. And it's the age old thing. Change comes from the bottom up. It never comes from the top down. A lot of us have gotten used to every 4 years voting for somebody and thinking that they were going to magically change everything. Bernie Sanders was never going to be the one, even if he got to be president. He wasn't just going to wave his wand and just change everything. It was always going to take a people's movement. And that's kind of what's happening right now. And so people just need more guidance. They just need, to know that not all is lost, that this is kind of propelling people to go out in the streets, that our power relies on us realizing it and not giving into fear and going out in the streets and taking it back. And that's what we're seeing is working. We are seeing small little changes here and there as to how that is working. So, any questions, Jonny, that you'd like to add? Okay, Jerry, where can...
I would like to say one last thing.
Sure.
Just for everyone that's feeling that fear and uncertainty right now. I know you're afraid, and I know there's a lot of uncertainty going on. But you need to take positive control of your situation. Accept it for what it is. We don't have anyone in our corner right now going to the federal level.
Yep.
Right now, we need to band together as a community and solve this problem here and prepare for a time of overwhelming suffering that is coming. We're already feeling like little ripples of it right now, but it's about to get a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to band together and we need to move forward and create a party that represents all of us. Now is that time, not after Biden has his crown put on his head. Now is the time. We need to take it right now. So I encourage you all, reach out to Movement for People's Party, reach out to us, Our Revolution Los Angeles, or get your own group together and join the discussion yourself. The whole point is we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You're already fighters. You're already doing this. So you need to get up and jump back into the fight. We're not done. This is just the beginning of the true revolution. Absolutely. And that's all I can say.
Agreed. All right. Jerry, where can people find you and locate ORLA and find out what you're doing?
So you can hit up our website at ourrevolutionla.com. You can also check out our social media. We're on Facebook, Our Revolution Los Angeles, our Twitter, Our Revolution LA, our Instagram, Our Revolution LA. If you want to follow me, you can check out my Twitter. It's at Jerry Perez LA. And yeah, sign up there. We'll do an onboarding call, get you hooked up with your local organizers. If you want to start your own hub, we'll get that started for you too.
Awesome, Jerry. Thank you so much for having this conversation and for taking action in your community. That's where the real change starts. And guys, just look out for July 11th, the actions that are coming up. If you really want to get involved with the protests, I look forward to that as well. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, Convo out.